Welcome, everybody. This is Michael from Boredom Sated.
And I'm John from Boredom Sated.
And today we're starting off a series of videos dealing with the first novelizations of the setting of Dark Sun. This is a 5-part pentad, as it were. This is simply known as the Prism Pentad by Troy Denning. This started in 1991 and continued onwards in the next year or two after that. The first book in this series was called The Verdant Passage, and this involved the city-state of Tyr. Now, Tyr is known for being ruled by another power-mad sorcerer king named Kalak, and his right-hand man was...
Tithien.
Yeah.
The star scream of Dark Sun. You can really, literally, he is the star scream of Dark Sun.
He certainly has a knack for survival, let's just say that way. The main characters of this 5-part novelization were introduced in this book. They include Aegis of Acetyles, if I'm saying that right. He was a noble human and a psionicist. Then there's Ricus, who is the Mule, which is a half-dwarf, half-human hybrid gladiator. He's a champion. And his female lover, Neva, who will be very important in the upcoming novels. And finally, to complete this particular quartet of rebels, is Sidira, who is the half-elf preserver / defiler. The reason for that is you'll have to read that part of the book. We don't want to spoil the entire book, but we're going to give you some major overviews.
And each one of these guys actually had their own book in succession. So these of the 5 books, this is the one that puts them all together and gets the story started. Then you go into Ricus and Sidira and Aegis, and then they finish it off with the whole story. And what this series did was it also became like the overall story of what they were producing in the RPG, as Troy Denning and Timothy Brown co-created the world of Dark Sun.
Yeah.
So that's how. So Troy Denning then took it and pushed it forward, and so this is taking place from the original box set up to the revised box set.
There are also 2 other characters that are introduced in this. Actually, 3. Sorry. The first is Nock. Nock is sort of a side character, but he's very important in the overall, at least the first part of this 5-part series. He's a halfling. Basically, you could call him a druid, I believe, and he creates 2. He has in charge of 2 items that he gives this ragtag party. The first is the Heartwood Spear, which he makes. And it's supposedly made from the very last tree, which I don't know why maybe the last tree of life. I don't know. It's a special tree. And he, according to the lore, he creates it with part of his life force added to it. And this is the weapon that they're going to try and... this is the only part of the really spoilery part of the novel, or bog review, is it's used to assassinate Kalak. Because King Kalak has a very devious plan, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a super villain in this one. So Kalak is a 1st level dragon, basically take it 21st level defiler psionist, and transformed probably over 1,000 years ago or more for Kalak, and he has this grand plan of sacrificing practically the entire citizenship of Tyr in one shot. It's 40,000 people, watching the gladiator games that they're building a ziggurat for, and Tithien is in charge of building that ziggurat. And so Kalak, is going to transform himself from a 1st level dragon into a 10th level final stage dragon in one shot.
It's definitely a super villain-ass plot. He's literally sacrificing his entire city just to fuel his transformation, because defilers require life force. Because why not? Because that's the most evil thing ever. And so he's going to transform from a beginner right through to the end. And this is... no one wants that. Nobody wants that. Other than Kalak, of course. So eventually they find out and they seek out Nock in order to get the Heartwood Spear to hopefully assassinate Galak. There's also one other item that they get from Nock, is a staff that Sidira gets. This is somewhat important because Sidira is not exactly. She's definitely the edgiest character out of all of them. Aegis is rather, he's the noble. He's actually he's a good guy, trying to do his part, but he's never been a slave. He's a freeman. He's obviously a lord. Rikus and Neva and Sidera are all slaves, so they have a different perspective on all this. They don't want to trade one master for another. So to put it perspective, this creates a little bit of drama between the three of these main characters, but it does move the story along. What did you think overall of this particular novel, though? This as an opinion.
Well, the book is a good book to get things started. It introduces some villains that are not going to make it, some villains that will. So Tithian is becomes a major character in the entire Prism Pentad, and also what we didn't introduce before was Kalak's two floating heads that are actually former champions of Rajat, Sasha and Wyatt. They used to control and be sorcerer kings of cities, and those cities were destroyed. So now their heads are floating around and giving Kalak tips and stuff, and they become characters throughout the thing, because they then we'll go into how this story ends, and you'll see what goes on. But yeah, this whole overall gets things started. It corresponds with the freedom module for campaign missions. So it's the very first module. You'll see that it's that story taking place, and you're like some side characters in the freedom. So instead of being like major characters in the module, they made you like side characters watching Rikus and Agus and Sidira and Neva, beat Kalak.
Yeah, basically, to further expand on that, most characters begin at around 3rd level in Dark Sun during the 2nd edition period, because they felt first edition, if you started at 1st level, you were dead meat, which is very true. According to the official character statistics of Aegis, Rikus, and Sidira, they're much higher level characters, around 15th level thereabouts on average. And so when you're in this module, the setting is the first book pretty much. You're in tier when this is all going down, but you have a different adventure befitting your level and of capabilities. Although that's not always true with the modules that they created. We'll get to that another day. But my opinion about this novel is it's a very good introduction to the Dark Sun world, how different it is from the other fantasy worlds at the time, like Greyhawk, Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms, all that stuff. They all felt the same, the medieval European thing. This is more desert. They had references to not only Middle East, but also like Tectotula, well, not in this book, but the other sorcerer kings felt like they're from the Oba is like from Africa, Tectotula is like from Mexico. Definitely all desert regions, and it felt different. Even that coinage is different. They use ceramic pieces. They don't use metal pieces because metal is rare. They use ceramic. They have Thrykean. They have half chance. It all felt alien. It's almost like if you look at some of the art, it's almost like gives you a feeling of John Carter from Mars, that type of thing. You're on a different planet. Definitely feel a different world. And if it was by itself, it would have been a great novel. But it was part of a series, and I felt it was very well done. It definitely got me invested to complete the Prism Pentad.
And it got us to hop on the Dark Sun world. We played it. We actually achieved a lot of 2020, basically the magician, psionist levels, but we never went into the advanced being stage. because we ended there because that was it for the campaign. And then to the actual Verdant Passage and how it ended. So yeah, of course, Calic got whacked. We got the Heartward Spear killing him, and then
No, that
Tithian
didn't kill him.
took over
That
as.
didn't kill him. John, that didn't kill him. Yeah, he didn't die from the Heartwood Spear. Remember? He got hit with it, and then he went through his transformation, and then somebody else, who I will not tell, and neither will you, killed him. Remember? Yeah, stop that. I know it's been 25 years.
He did get injured by the Heartwood Spear, and he had to go back. He was trying to finish his spell, and one of the heroes, screwed him over.
Yes.
And then after that, Tithian took over as king. So of course he is the Starscream, and then he progresses.
He would, if there was a trait attributed to that man, that would be Survivor at any cost.
And then of course Tithian freed the slaves of Tyr. That was the bargain he did with the Veiled Alliance and the ragtag group. That hey, I'll free the slaves so that there's no more slaves because we don't have to give the Tith to the forest, the dragon of the entire region.
Yeah.
Which he was using to keep Rajat in prison.
Spoilers. Well, that's way. You're going a little bit too far. Hold on.
1991.
This novel kicks off this entire 5-part series is incredibly important for a number of reasons. Primarily, it builds on the foundation of the box set, which sets the stage. But this is one criticism I'll levy at the whole 5 parts. There was a lot of background stuff going on between Troy Denning and TSR at the time, and that influenced the direction of the novel. We'll expound on that later on. But as far as this novel is concerned, it was a very good foundation to start this story. And it definitely was the very definition of epic, because it was effectively world-changing. It's literally high fantasy in that the stakes are, at first in this one, it's just the city, but then it becomes the entirety of the tableland, which is the 7 city-states of the Tyr region. And that should conclude our review of this, an overview of this novel. Stay tuned for the next video, which will be entitled The Crimson Legion, which highlights the immediate repercussions of this novel, in this part. And as always, I am Michael from Boredom Sated. And if you enjoyed this video, hit a like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll see you next time.